I thought 3 guinea pigs was a lot, and then I decided to add 2 more, making 5, more than I've ever owned before. And it's not just about more cleaning, there's lots of other considerations and changes to think about. So in this vlog, I'm gonna share what made me increase our herd size, how I went about it, how things are going now with the piggies, and some general pros and cons if you're thinking about doing it yourself. Because we could never use enough piggies, right? Hi, what is it? I didn't do anything. I did not do anything. Hi. So there we go, that's Minnie with the black face, and that is Penelope. Minnie and Penelope, they look the same size as the others, but they are the 2 new piggies. They're about 8 months old now, and they've been with us for about 5 months. And really the biggest reason behind adding these 2 girls was that I finally had the space. I always wanted to add more piggies. As you know, I'm totally obsessed with guinea pigs, but they do need a lot of space. And it's not just for enrichment and exercise, but it's really important for herd dynamics and making sure they get along well. And if you follow the channel, you'll know that I finally got to build the cage of my dreams back in November last year, and this basically doubled the size of the cage. So having the space was one thing, but I also knew that I would have the time to commit to looking after these new herd members. So I did actually plan to get 2 young or baby females and introduce them separately to the group, like do one and then do another a few months later. However, it didn't quite work out like that. Minnie and Penelope were posted on Pre-Loved, which is sort of like Craigslist or Gumtree for pets here in the UK, and unfortunately their previous owner realised that they just couldn't give them the space or time that they needed, and I ended up introducing them both at the same time to the rest of the herd. And I followed the kind of standard recommendations when it comes to introducing guinea pigs. So neutral territory, they took over the living room for a full-on week, and I watched them closely for any sort of dominance issues arising or signs of them fighting or anything like that. Unfortunately, everything went pretty smoothly. There was just a little bit of drama with Minnie and Nacho. Now Minnie is such a vocal piggy, and she was just getting a little bit defensive and not too sure of Nacho coming up to her and saying hello and wanting to have a good sniff. So Nacho kind of got a little bit offended by that, and there was just a little bit of facing off between the 2 of them, but it all went to plan in the end. Now by getting 2 young female piggies, I reduced the risk of them not getting along. So that's where you need to do a bit of research and see what the best combination of piggies for your setup is. Here I've got Nacho, who's a male, so introducing another male is a no-no. He would just not accept another male into this group because he is the natural leader, and in the wild guinea pigs have 1 male and then a harem of females that belong to that male. I know, it's totally sexist. However, when males aren't exposed to females or they don't have females in their surroundings, then they can get along with another male quite happily. Introducing young guinea pigs is also quite a safe bet because they grow up accepting that the other older piggies are in charge, and they're more likely to just naturally fall into their place in the hierarchy. So once the new girls were all settled in and all the piggies were in this cage together, then obviously I did notice some changes. For a start, I was going to have to think about the layout of the cage, and I was definitely going to have to provide more litter tray and hay areas. So now I use these 2 litter tray areas, and I also have these hay pigs hay racks as extra hay zones in the cage. And when I'm putting other things in the cage, I do think about, have we all got a bed each? Because it's very important that no one's left out in the cold. And of course I noticed that I was doing extra cleaning, but to be honest it didn't make that much difference to me. With a bigger cage it's not as obvious when the poops build up, and I basically just found myself cleaning out the litter trays as I was before, although there's more litter trays, and just doing more spot cleans throughout the day. Another thing that I also noticed with the herd is of course the changing dynamics and relationships between the piggies. So So I've been carefully monitoring them, and in general they are all getting along fine. However, I do find it a little bit stressful when any one of the girls, except Phoebe of course because she's spayed, when anyone comes into heat, and it does just get a little bit dramatic in the cage. They'll start chasing each other around, they're trying to jump on Nacho's back, and then he's turning around and chasing them in the other direction, and then they can annoy each other a bit more easily. And I do really think having such a big cage is key to them all getting along as well. I think I would definitely experience more arguments and more drama if they were in a smaller cage. So let's get on to some pros and cons that I've noticed when adding guinea pigs to my herd. So pro number one, which is a huge one for me, and that's that more piggy personalities just mean more happiness, more love, and it's more rewarding being their owner. They really do have unique characters, and no one guinea pig is like the next one. I could talk the ears off anyone that would be prepared to listen about all of the different personality traits in my guinea pigs. And if you're the kind of person who finds them fascinating, who loves watching your guinea pigs, then having different characters in your herd is going to be a big positive for you. Con number one, obviously there's more cleaning involved, so you are spending more time sweeping up poop, getting your hands dirty, and if you don't enjoy that, then that might be a negative for you. My second big pro is that watching their group dynamics is so much fun. You can really start to see the individual relationships between the guinea pigs in your herd, and it's just super entertaining to watch how they interact with each other. However, the con that's related to this is that you are not able to give them as much individual attention as before. When you just own 2 piggies, it's really nice that you can do everything with those 2 piggies. So for example, lap time is a big one. With 5 piggies, it becomes a bit of a nightmare. They do settle down eventually, but it can take a good sort of 20 minutes, half hour before they've all got their sleeping spots that they're happy with, and no one is trying to kamikaze off the side of the sofa or pooing or weeing everywhere, and you've got enough pads so everything is waterproof. Moving on to pro number 3, and that's usually that increasing your herd size means that you have a mix of different ages in your group of guinea pigs. Now this can be really good for taming. So older piggies definitely do become more chilled out, they become more confident around you as their owner. Younger piggies are funny, they're more energetic, they might run laps of the cage or popcorn, but they sometimes rely on having older guinea pigs in order to teach them to be more tame and more chilled around us and not be as scared of us. So over the years, I've found it's really nice to have a mix of ages within the group. However, let's be honest here, with having more guinea pigs, including having guinea pigs of different ages, sort of means that you've got more stress and paranoia about their health, and you're kind of worried when something is going to go wrong with any one of them. And I do get this a lot with the piggies. I am super aware of Phoebe, for example. She's approaching 5 years old. She already has existing health problems, and I'm just constantly looking out for her and monitoring her health. So in some ways, again, it's good to have them staggered at different ages so you aren't having to deal with older piggies getting health problems all at the same time. But whichever way you look at it, it is always there. The more piggies you have, the more likely you are to run into health problems. And that is tied into the next con. We'll do another pro after this. If you have health problems, obviously you've got vet costs. You might have insurance. And for me, the insurance is £50 for Phoebe, Callie and Nacho. And I've chosen not to add Penelope and Minnie onto it yet. And not just costs related to healthcare either. You have food, you have fresh veggies, you have hay. Oh my God, they get through so much hay, it's ridiculous. I am having to buy a box of online Timothy hay, which is like their posh hay, pretty much every 3 weeks now, whereas I swear it lasted at least 6 weeks before, so I don't know how it's managed to double. And there might also be initial costs if you have to, say, increase the size of your cage when you are increasing the size of your herd. Okay, a couple more positives, and these two are kind of tied in with each other. First of all is that if you choose to rescue guinea pigs, you have more space to offer more homes for more deserving piggies who are out there waiting to be adopted. And also related to this is that having more piggies can help you when you do lose a piggy. Yes, it's going to happen more often, but when it does, having the rest of the herd there for comfort is genuinely something that can help you get over the grief. And also you can bear in mind that if you are going to adopt another rescue piggy, that you then have a sort of space available for a deserving piggy to come and join the herd. And not like they're replacing the lost piggy or anything like that, but it just means that you have an opportunity to give another piggy a deserving home. So those are my key pros and cons and changes that we've noticed and things we've experienced with increasing the piggy herd. Let me know if you have any of your own that you want to add to down in the comments below. And if you have any questions for us as well, don't hesitate to ask. I really hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!